DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Good evening and welcome to a beautiful Tuesday night where we're going to talk about all things DJ. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be incredible. DJ. Tonight I'm joined by Rick Webb with 1B and Rachel Lynch. DJ Rachel Lynch with... wait a second, Rachel. I can't really put anything with
1L.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Now we made this. And tonight we're going to talk about our thoughts on DJ Expo, specifically from... You guys have heard me talk about DJ Expo a lot, and you've heard a lot of us talk, but this is the first year for both of you at DJ Expo, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Absolutely.
So we're going to let Rick and Rachel kind of tell their story a little bit about what they saw, what they experienced, because there's a lot of you out there who are like, should I make the investment to go? Should I do this? Should I do that? Because for the first time, Rick, you've heard us talk about this for a number of years. What was the impetus for you to make that run this year?
Everyone that wanted to see me. that was a big one. That was a big one. Everyone bar and everyone talking. They're like, Rick, you got to come this year. When do you meet up? And that. But that and I wanted to see all the products.
Yeah.
Because Southeastern Ohio, well, now I have Guitar Center like right down the street, but I hadn't had the availability to like go see a lot of products on a lot. Mm-hmm. So being able to see a lot of companies at one time and seeing demo rooms of speakers and stuff where you can actually get an idea of the products that are out there and what you can do with them, it's pretty awesome.
Rachel, how about yourself now? What was the push behind going to this year's show for the first time?
Number one, excuse to take a vacation, right? Atlantic City, just vacation. I deserve it. So actually, I actually love Atlantic City. I actually go once a year with my family anyway, not for the expo. So it was an opportunity, to bring my mom and my brother and go down and have a good week. But my main motivation of going to the expo, I'm going to have to also partner up with Rick here. There was so many people that reached out to me and said, Rach, are you going to this? We want to meet you. Do you really love pizza as much as you say you do? Let's buy you a couple slices. So I went honestly for the networking, and there's so many great connections that I've made. This year's been really big for me, at least socially. Yeah. And there's so many wonderful people that I've met. And I just wanted to solidify those relationships and actually sit down, have a meal, and talk. Even you, the DJNTV crew, we talk a lot, but I really wanted to go to the party and all that. So yeah, that was my main motivation. So
we're going to stop or hit one of the topics that you mentioned, Rachel, there, where you talked about taking a vacation to Atlantic City. Because I've heard people say that. It's like, I've never been, but I want to take a vacation to Las Vegas or Atlantic City. After getting there and being involved and talking to as many people, can you call that really a vacation? I mean, you were working, you were busy.
It was the worst vacation of my life.
That's what I was after.
Actually, I'll even take it one step further. So I had laryngitis by Monday night.
Yep.
So for the rest of the week, I was using sign language and charades to communicate. And then when I got home that Friday, I had picked up a head cold from somewhere. Yesterday was the first day I felt like a human being. So it was the worst vacation of my life. And it took me about a week to recover. So, and cost me a lot of money to do so.
It does. And the amount of, you mentioned, of course, you lost your voice, the amount of networking. I mean, Rick, you would have had the same thing walking down the hall, people coming up and saying, hey, and talking to you. It's like you're on almost full time at these shows now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't much of a vacation.
And what was Right. And what was difficult is, I came in with a game plan. You know how like the family vacation where you have your map and your outline, you go to Disney and you have like everything up to the minute you want to do. That was like, forget about it. You walk 5 feet, you're getting involved in conversation. You walk another 10 feet, you say hello, there's a vendor. My plan went out the door. So that was like mistake number one. Rookie mistake number one is I went there with a plan. I should have just been the hell with it. Whatever happens, happens. Because that's what it ended up being.
So far we've got 2 points. 1, don't think it's a vacation, and 2, don't go in with a plan.
Right.
And
don't go with a plan.
Yeah. So
best plan's no plan.
Exactly, because it becomes that situation where there's so many things that happen, and spontaneously, where you got a group that's going here, or somebody's going here, or you're in the hallway and you get into a conversation. I mean, a number of times, Michael was with me this year, and he's like, "Hey, let's go here," and I'm hungry. Teenager, hungry, huh? Imagine that. And it's like, great, let's go and we'll get something to eat. Well, it takes us an hour and a half to get from point A to point B in that casino just because of conversations and things. You can't go with a plan very well. That's for sure.
I did, though, say my only plan that I stuck to is I definitely went for the people and not the gear this year. So the fact that I got diverted away from maybe some of the actual showroom floor experience, I was okay with that. I was there for the people, and I got my fill of people. So.
Yeah, I saw a lot of great pictures that you were able to take there. So that looked like a lot of fun. You saw some great folks there. Just following the chat room, we were out broadcasting, of course, to Facebook and YouTube tonight. So if you guys have got any questions about DJ Expo, and maybe you're thinking it's the first time of going, you might be the next going to the next show and such, ask those questions now, because there's people in the chat room, or we can handle those, and we definitely want to help you. Because here was my next big question. I'm going to start with you on this one, Rachel. Was it worth the investment to go? Because people always ask that, because it's generally $1,000 between airfare and hotel and food and such. It's at least $1,000 investment. Rachel, what are your thoughts?
As a first time, yes, I would say every DJ should go at least just once. If you can't make it the next year, that's fine. Or if you make it a biannual thing, as budget persists. Would I deny my family, again, a vacation to Disney to come to this every year? Maybe not. But as a first timer, I'm glad I came, and I took away a lot of great memories and experiences, and did pick up little nuggets of information here. So for me personally, yes, it was worth it.
Rick, how about yourself?
For me, first time, it was a lot of money. I'll give it that. And also I bought gear, so it was even more money. Plus the biggest thing for me was the toll on the drive, because I chose to drive the 8 hours up there and drive back and then go to work literally as soon as I got back. That was a terrible decision. But no, yeah, overall the experience of it versus the cost of it, it was worth it in my eyes. I thought this savings that I got on the gear kind of offset a little bit of the cost, but the networking that I did at this show was priceless. The amount of people I met, the amount of business cards that I got from people, that was worth it in itself. The amount of guys I now know across America. So,
and I definitely have to echo that statement. Is that education wise? Yes, I sat in a little bit and there was a couple little things, but I'm not there for the seminars anymore. It's just, I don't have the time, unfortunately. So for myself, my value is those relationships that I have built and the people I get to see, which early on, it was the education was the huge thing. And I got my value out of the education. Then when I was buying gear, as you were saying, Rick, is I was buying gear and I was getting such a great deal on it that it was justifying the trip. And now I'm on the other end where it's the relationships, to go in there and to be able to give Big Daddy a hug. I mean, just the value of that is incredible. And there's just, Big Daddy's just one of dozens of people that it was, the hug over the 3 days that I was there. So it's a fabulous, fabulous time when it comes to that. Just following the chat here. Mm-hmm. Somebody, anything on silent disco? I don't think there was anything on silent disco at all that I saw.
No headphone companies for silent discos.
Yeah, and that was one of my surprises. Let's just kind of bridge into the exhibit hall. For me, there weren't as many small vendors in the exhibit hall as there had been in the past, such as the silent disco crew. They had a small table in the past. The exhibit hall was smaller this year. There's no question about it, and it's just the way it is. If you guys want to prove that fact, go watch my walk around video last year, then the year before, and the year before that. It's all there, and no matter what, no press release is going to change that. It was smaller, still good, but it was smaller. How was it as the first time there? Rick, I'll start with you on this one. What was your impression of that exhibit hall? Were you kind of, was it a letdown? Was it what you expected? Was it more than you expected? Where did that kind of fall for you?
In terms of me not being around to these exhibits before, like seeing, because a lot of these trade show booths are kind of the same thing every year with a few more new products. I saw that there was enough on the floor. The fact that I was only there for the floor for 2 days to get around everything I had in the time that I had. So if it was any bigger than that, I would have been really struggling to get around to everything that was there on the floor. If it would have been smaller than that, I probably would have been let down. But for me, the size was perfect for the 2 days I was there. There were some companies I wish would have been there, some other speaker companies, some lighting companies, but that's besides the point.
Rachel, how about yourself? When you did walk through the exhibit hall, did it meet expectations, exceed? Where did it fall for you?
Well, at least it met it. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I just heard that it was like chaos. It was like, Black Friday kind of a thing. So I didn't really know what to expect when I went in. But I'm going to, again, agree with Rick. I think as a first timer, if it were any big between the social aspect of the showroom floor and just wanting to touch all the shiny new, I don't know if I would have been able to comb through as thoroughly as I did. I authentically got to touch everything that I was interested in touching in terms of new gear or gear that I was thinking about buying and wasn't really sure, and I wanted to get the feel for it. Mm-hmm. I also appreciated that it wasn't so busy that if you wanted to talk to a representative and really get some one-on-one attention with how things work, or if you actually owned a piece of equipment and you had a question about it, like I know a lot of people were hitting up the Denon DJ booth, particularly with the 8000, with all the kind of, comments that have been going on with the unit and some of the problems and stuff, is I know those guys really were kept on their feet at the expo and they were available to talk to you. And I really appreciated that. So I felt it was the perfect size, at least for a newcomer.
And that's actually a great point, Rachel, when you're talking about the ability to connect with some of the exhibitors and the product specialists. We go back 5 years ago, and there were times where I would be trying to shoot video on some of these product specialists, and I had to wait a half hour, 45 minutes to be able to get to them. I think these companies have really stepped up their game. Instead of having 2 product specialists, they are having a half a dozen that are there to answer the questions, because they know DJs are asking intelligent questions. They've seen enough videos that the kind of things that Rick and Bar are out there doing, and they get some information, and now they come in. They don't need to see some of the intro stuff. They need to see, how do I make it do this, this, and this? Can you show me? So it's really kind of a cool thing.
Absolutely, and they were available. Yeah, they had people there to sell you stuff if you needed to, people to help answer questions about products. They had, DJs demoing the gear. It just there was a little bit of everything, so it was great.
Let's see, you got a few things here I want to cover. And from the chat room, Howie is giving a shout out to Rachel for helping cover his computer during the rainstorm, which for those of you who didn't follow that, during our DJNTV kind of gathering, all of a sudden this little cloud burst comes over, and DJs scattering to grab plastic and tarps and covering the computers and different things. And we have pictures of Rachel right in the middle of the covering crew. So yeah, that was a neat. I don't think I've ever seen a picture like that from any convention ever. There we are with tarp. So And then let's see. Ronald wanted to give a shout out here from Facebook that Ronald loves your videos, Rachel. So he wanted to send that out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
So yeah, again, Rick, you and I don't count. We're just going to be here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yes, and there was one more. We'll ask this one, and then we'll get back to talking DJ Expo. They wanted to know where the best pizza was that you found in Atlantic City.
It was just not good anywhere. At least for the price point. The one in Harrah's right by the sandwich shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
We hit that one.
It was edible.
It was edible. And it was like
edible.
It was
I'll leave
like
it at that.
$4.
Hey, when you skipped dinner the previous night and you didn't eat breakfast, it was delicious. Just saying.
My 15-year-old didn't turn it down. It's like, are you hungry? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I should have, are you breathing? Yep. Oh, he's hungry. And, $4, and at least he wasn't chewing on his, on his arm anymore or anything. So did you guys, as far as the educational content, did you get to sit in on any seminars or anything to that effect?
Yeah, definitely on Monday. I sat in pretty much every one of them that there was on Monday.
Nice.
And then Tuesday, I only got around to go on the Jeremy show in the morning, and then I was on the floor pretty much the rest of the day.
How about yourself, Rachel? Did you get to hit any of the?
Yeah, Monday was very seminar heavy, but again, I knew that going in through watching, the DJNTV kind of walkthrough when you guys did like a day-by-day breakdown of kind of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like my working Bible. But again, the itinerary kind of went out the plan. But I was having a lot of trouble because there was some overlap with some of the seminars. And I felt kind of bad because I'd be sitting in one and they'd be like, okay, the other one's starting in a half an hour. And I was skipping. And I felt getting up and leaving, and I didn't want to be rude or disrespectful, but I just was trying to spread me as thin as I could. So I think next year I would really sit down, and if I could find out what's being taught and really choose what's super important to me rather than drive myself crazy and try to make it to everything that I could. I didn't know any better, and I didn't want to miss anything. So yeah.
So from the seminars that you guys were able to hit, what would be one thing that kind of stood out that was like a one of those little gems that you picked up from the session? Anything that kind of stood out from any of the sessions you hit on Monday?
Oh, on Monday.
Well, Monday, Tuesday, whichever, any of the time. But yeah, you guys seem to hit more on Monday.
Well, the one to me that had the most impact was the one about where they had the panel of DJs, and they were going over turntablism and kind of the history of where that all came from, and the different equipment that all this started with, and the storytelling. I was completely immersed in that seminar. That was a fabulous one for me to be in. And it wasn't really about information nuggets on how to maximize profits or break down your equipment quicker. It just was being immersed in the DJ culture and kind of hearing different stories and different backgrounds. It was really interesting. I love that one.
Yeah, I didn't make it to that one. That actually sounds very interesting now that I missed out on that.
Yeah,
and the games were a great time. I had a fantastic time. And I'm really not that kind of DJ per se, but it still was really good just to see everyone kind of, loosen their tie or, a little bit and just be a little silly and have fun. And it was a great bonding experience. So I liked it.
Yeah, I missed out on that one as well. That's just
I'm telling you, I was running around crazy. I tried to make it too as much as I could.
Yeah, I didn't. I want to say overall, I only attended 5 seminars.
Okay,
I didn't attend many. Out of the ones I attended, Jeremy's was the most informational to me, just from a business aspect because I'm trying to become a multi-op. Just the different things he was doing with lighting design and upselling and creative ways to upsell, definitely had my mind rolling a lot in terms of that. But there was a lot that people told me about that I wish I would have attended.
And I found that over the years also is that it's kind of like what Rachel is like, I want to make sure I hit everything and I do this and I do that. And there are times where it's like, okay, this one starts at, I want to make sure I get there for the beginning of that one. So I'm going to leave this one early. And then you find out that there were some golden nuggets given in that one as they wrapped up. It's like, da, 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 da. So it's one of those hindsight things that, and I don't think there's a perfect way to handle it and make sure that a person doesn't miss things. But Oh,
Yeah, like Nick's seminar. I really wish I would have made it to Nick's.
yeah. I mean, just someone mentioned Nick's seminar. Who was just talking about it? Lucas mentioned that Nick's seminar, and of course KC, who sat in quite a few, and he was very impressed with Nick's seminar. That's why he was on this past week sharing some of his tips and such. And yeah, it sounded like that was a fabulous seminar.
Another thing that made it kind of difficult, and again, I don't know if you were going to bring this up, but our friends at Bass Boss definitely added a little splash of flavor to every single seminar. Impressive room. I'm going to tell you, my mind was blown when I went in there. But when you're trying to, again, pick up those nuggets and really enjoy the seminar, and you're just your soul is rattling, that was kind of interesting.
They had input in the seminars. Yeah, that was a nice way to put it. Basically, they were just way too loud for that situation. They needed.
They're not mobile DJ market.
No. Yeah, the incredible stuff.
They're me.
Yeah.
Big school dances,
and things such as that. And yeah, they were just way beyond that situation. And I'm sure they'll work on it and kind of figure out of how to handle that, because there are people, as you say, in the DJ industry. Rick is an example of guys who utilize that level of gear.
I probably was the only one that walked in there with a level head and was like, okay, all right. I wasn't too like crazy impressed because I'm used to that sound.
Mm-hmm.
The low end, we could talk. That's different.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I was being very nitpicky versus just mind blown. I was actually in. It was good.
See, my biggest thing with any of the speaker rooms is a frustration is that they're playing music that we don't play. They're playing maybe an instrumental or an orchestral thing, and it's like, there's no YouTube video being shot right now. Play something that I play as a DJ, that I have a reference point to. I mean, as much as we'd hate to hear it, but play something an old classical hip hop song or something that we've played so many times, we know how it should sound. And then we'll be like, ooh, I never knew there was a bass line like that in that song.
My biggest thing with the demo rooms is I wish they would have just been doing a sweep through all the speakers the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I could actually just walk in there and for a certain amount of time, I can listen to every single speaker is there. I don't have to talk to someone that, hey, I want that speaker. Hey, I want that speaker. Certain rooms were just playing the same speakers with the DJ going the whole time, and they were just trying to talk to people.
I noticed that in one of the rooms where I sat in there I was in there for about 2 minutes, and it was so incredibly loud that everyone was standing out in the hallway, and it's like, but there's all these speakers. Why are we listening to more than just these really super loud? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Did not. Rachel, you mentioned, of course, gear. The things you want to do to touch, feel, what have you. What kind of things were you looking forward to being able to actually see in person at the show?
Well, one of the things that excited me the most was the new Denon SC 5000M. It's a motorized platter, and I currently use the 8000, and I've been a Denon fan, since the beginning. So I was really excited, not only just to meet, some of the staff and be like, hey, I love your stuff, but to see that come out. I think it's really going to motivate me to a different level of DJing. I'm not a turntablist. I do mix and all that, but I think it's made me excited to kind of reach out to the next level. And I definitely visit, the Pioneer section and the Rain 12. That was incredible to see. That there was just a lot of products that at my local Guitar Center or, a lot of these, shops around here, half the crap isn't hooked up or it doesn't work or, it's not accessible to touch it. So everything there, if you touched it, it worked. And I love that. So.
Yeah, that is always a cool thing is that. And because of being there early, I don't know, Rachel, you didn't get into the exhibit hall on Monday, did you?
No, not at all. That was like seminar day for me.
Okay, for you were there all day. As someone who gets in there early, sometimes there are pieces of gear that don't work. And what's really kind of nice is that most of these companies now, they prepare for that. We bring 3 if we need 2 type of thing. And if there's something that's not working, we make sure that they have that and they're all set up and such so that come performance time. I mean, it's the same story we tell all the time about having backups. The companies do too. And that's just smart business. It isn't something that they know this gear is more susceptible than that. all the companies have backups ready to go in case when they're setting up something happens. And I've been in a room when somebody had a big controller case and they set it on a table and one of the legs of the table went out from under it, crashed down, and it snapped off a bunch of knobs and things. And well, ignore that side of the controller where the knobs are sheared off because those should be there. No, out in the truck it went and a new one came in.
Everything I touched was working, so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
I think the highlight for me wasn't lighting, wasn't anything else, was different types of controllers, just because I've only really ever used Denon and haven't really dabbled. So it was fun to experience other types of controllers and turntables and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Brandon was asking how long you can test the equipment by yourself. This year, it seemed that they had a lot of different stations in most of the booths, so you could spend 5-10 minutes. You may not have a factory rep there to be able to explain things that long, but if you wanted this, Jimmy mentioned he was in the Newmark booth for 10 minutes spinning on the NS7 III. You can do it.
I felt no pressure. I felt I could have been there as long as I wanted. And honestly, if you were really into it and you were killing it, because they had speakers like hooked up to everything, and everyone walking by, could kind of hear you. People had little groups surrounding them and watching people cut and stuff, and it was like these own little mini parties everywhere. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was one of my buddies, a bunch of his friends are all scratch DJs, and they were at the Pioneer, and like 4 of them in a circle, and they were just going around doing scratch techniques, routine, just copying each other, moving around. They were there for a solid 4 hours. I want to say the one day, just staying there on that equipment.
Wow,
had like a whole mosh, like it was crazy.
And you walk around and you see some people who are doing different types of, they brought their little thumb drive, they plugged in, and one guy was doing this little thing where he's got the same song going twice, and he's basically repeating this, back and forth, repeating that same beat, but he's doing it so quickly that it's still in beat with itself. And I bet he did that I watched him probably for about 3 or 4 minutes as I was talking to someone, and it's like just watching this guy's. You'd swear it was the same beat, but he's just got his timing down so smooth, and it's like there's some really, really talented people out there that you run into at these shows that way. Crazy talented.
So the one thing that I wanted to bring up, and kind of segue maybe back into your party, is like the promo only booth or the Floyd Rose headphones where they don't have shiny lights and these huge speakers, and it's really just about that intimate conversation with the vendor and their services and stuff. And I kind of felt like they had a very difficult time just because everyone is blasting on level 105, and you just have this modest, intimate booth to meet with your customers or potential people interested in, and you're not going to get that experience just because of all the noise and distractions. So that's what I really loved about the DJNTV party, was you were able to escape and sit down and actually have a human conversation despite having no voice, and able to kind of to do that with them. So
yeah, in the past they used to have what they referred to as a quiet side and a noisy side, and then they've tried different things, but the sound issue, especially Tuesday, the first hour on Tuesday was decent, and then it just took off, and I felt really sorry for some of those guys or the booths. There's just nothing you can do when it goes crazy like that. Yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
No, go ahead.
We got a few question. Was QSC there? QSC was not there.
No.
They I'm not even sure.
Really
if
shocking.
I'm not sure if they were at Mobile Beach or not. I can't say if they were in Vegas or not. But yeah, this is one of the first times they haven't been at DJ Expo that since in my memory. Jim was wondering, Rachel, if there was if there was someone there that you didn't get a chance to meet, that you were wanting to be able to meet up and say hi to.
I pretty much met up with everyone that I wanted to, but I didn't get as much time as I wanted to with people like Shani, for example. I've been wanting to meet her forever and just sit down and have a chat. But, she was so busy at the Bose booth and running around. And, so I got to meet even, I saw Rick for like 3 seconds. I think it was in his video, like me taking a stupid selfie thing or something like that. But so there's
something
people
like
that there's people that I saw, but I didn't really get a lot of time to make, it meaningful. So, next year, but I had some great meetings, with some people, I met with some reps from Virtual DJ, at the party, and I'm a huge Virtual DJ, fan. So be able to sit down with them and talk software and geek out a little bit. That was incredible for me. I sat down with Phil from DJ Digital Tips.
Nice.
We had a very nice morning coffee and tea. My last morning I was there. So the meaningful meetings I had were out of this world. And hopefully next year I could catch up with some of the people that I did a passing hello, but didn't get a lot of time to sit down and talk with.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. There's just so many people, and I every year I go to a show, and it's like I want to be able to this and this and this and this person, and we'll get maybe we'll do dinner one of the nights, and we'll do lunch one of the night, and then it's at the end. It's like, gosh.
If I ate every time someone offered like, "Hey, let's go get dinner," you'd have to roll me out of there. I'd explode. I'm also owed like 9 large pizzas. Just saying.
And hopefully you're keeping track of that.
I didn't forget. The people who promised, I didn't forget.
Yes, keep track of that. That's important. Leverage. Let's see. Somebody, Rachel, they're wondering if you saw Rich from Virtual DJ. Did you?
Yes.
You probably saw. He was at the DJNTV thing.
DJNTV party. I'm sorry. Like names. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, forgive me, names and faces, and I'm trying to keep track of who's with what company and this and that. Yes, I believe Rich was there. There were 2 reps, and the one from Canada wasn't able to make it down, and I don't remember his name. There was 2 Virtual DJ reps there.
Yes, Chris from. Chris is the guy that he's generally the gentleman we see at most of the DJ shows. Yeah. Jeffrey from Canal mentioned that the last year at the Atlantic City Convention Center might have turned some of the manufacturers off with union things and such. Yeah, all those things can play a role. So let's talk about the facility and such. Granted, you guys haven't been with us for the others, but you've been to hotels, you've been to different buildings and such. What was your thoughts on Harrah's as a place to stay and a place for the event?
Well, I'll start because I didn't stay at Harrah's. I actually stayed at resorts off the strip, and nice. I had a car, so I just drove over, paid my $5 to park, spent the day there, partied and did whatever I wanted to do, and then went back to my room at resorts away. And I felt like I was going to miss out, but I really didn't. And if I needed a room to just kind of freshen up or hang out, I met with Luke Harris. There's people that are not Aaron from Connecticut. Primetime Entertainment. I had friends there that just said, "Hey, come up to the room and hang out." So I didn't really miss out on anything. So I can't really speak for the amenities of the room. In terms of the hotel, I mean, it's your basic casino. It was good. I enjoyed the pool. I think the pool area was great. I really enjoyed the pool party. I thought I had a really good time there. So, I can't vouch for other years where it was, on the pool. I think I would have liked it better on the boardwalk, just because you don't feel like you're trapped in the casino if you want to go sit down, at the Land Shark and have a beer at the beach. I just felt there would have been more atmosphere to connect than feeling forced to stay in the hotel, because other than the Borgata and the Nugget, there's really nothing. It's nothing there. So.
Yeah, not so much. Rick, did you stay at the at Harrah's?
Mm-hmm. Yep. My wallet was hurting a little bit, but as far as a venue and everything, the hotel was not amazing, not terrible. As far as the actual complex, the casino complex felt like a small version of Las Vegas in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like very nice looking and everything. Wish there was more restaurants and more food in there. Maybe, but other than that, the convention hall was nice. The upstairs was nice. Compared to what I'm used to, it's about right. But like Rachel said, I wish it would have been over on the boardwalk, just because there's a lot more to do on the boardwalk. And it seemed like everything was very close, though. So if you need to go to a convention, it was right upstairs. If you needed to go to a party afterwards, it was like right down the hall. Everything was centralized compared to what people said in the past, where stuff was like across city and stuff like that. But
yeah, Brandon asked about the party. Michael, my 15-year-old, he couldn't get into anything, which was kind of a bummer because he would love to have watched and such. So
yeah,
jumping back, I'm sorry, I wanted to hit that before it left the chat. I heard that used Rick, when you explained it, as kind of a Las Vegas-esque casino. It really, I felt that also. It's like, wow, this is much closer to Las Vegas than the Taj was. The Taj wasn't, and of course, last year at the convention center, that didn't feel like a DJ convention and a casino whatsoever, obviously. But it was, yeah, the Harrah's was okay. I mean, the room had some issues. It was nice that all the things were relatively close, so it wasn't like you were doing the parties, across town or something. Most of the time, it was just basically across the hall from any of the things. So that was pretty nice indeed. Just following chat here. Bar's in there, and he's chatting up a story.
Bar's pointing out the after party thing. I agree with him. Tuesday they had way too many after parties. We need a new rule next year that there's only 1 or 2 after parties every day, because we could never make it to all of this.
So on Tuesday there was the first one was PV had their after the first one. And then that one ran long, and then the Bose one came in, and then they did whatever. And beyond that, I think there were 2 other unofficial beyond our DJNTV insider thing. I think there were 2 other on Tuesday.
There was one at Scores that I went to. And
I was there too.
Yeah,
were you really? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, this gets to be kind of a late thing, and that's one of the differences between the Las Vegas show and Atlantic City, is the Vegas show doesn't have where a DJ will go and in essence reserve a room, and DJ Spin and Fred is going to be playing over here, and all of a sudden it becomes an after party, and you have 1,000 people that are 500 whatever. You just don't have that in Las Vegas like that. Whereas Atlantic City, I think it was 4 years ago, there was a night that there were 4 different DJs that were all friends of mine, or connections of mine, were playing in different spots, and they were all doing the same thing at the same. It's like, wow. Yeah, Shani, they were the 2
I had a
sponsors.
hard time finding where to go party and who to go with, and of course, everyone has their own opinion and their own groups, and so you just kind of have to just roll with it. And what by the time you finish eating dinner, what's already started, how long is it going to take to get there? Like there's times where I was invited to dinner, I wasn't planning it, and you have some great table talk, and you don't want to take away from that. It's about the people, just to go listen to some more loud music and spend, $15 on a drink. So I just kind of ended up where I was at. The one regret that I have that I missed was the entertainer of the year, I guess at the Nugget. I really wanted to kind of just see what that was all about, but I got caught up at dinner, and I couldn't get over there. So.
Yeah, that is if you've never had a chance to sit down and watch one of the Entertainer of the Year type contests. I was watching it a few years back when it was the DJ of the Year, and just the different style of performance. You guys probably see that style of performance more than I do as someone from Minnesota. But even it was a night and day difference from what we do for our shows. When they have a team of dancers and they're up there performing and they're doing some of their bar mitzvah activities, and it's like, dude, I do weddings. There's no way that I'm going to have five dancers and crowd motivators behind me as I'm leading a dance, and then all of a sudden they go out there and they teach the dances to the crowd. It's like a different world.
And I was talking about this over dinner. I have to give all the DJs who were performing, whether it's at the showroom floor with their specific, sponsor, something like that, or the Entertainer of the Year, or at the pool party, to be able to play in front of the hardest audience that exists. Like, whether, you thought they were great or, you could have done better, everyone's their own worst critic, but I have to give a shout out to, your son, anyone who performed, God bless you, man, because I can't think of a harder performance in your lifetime than sitting in front of a room of, 400 other DJs drinking nonetheless, doing what you do. So just shout out to everyone there.
And that's exactly one of the things I didn't tell Michael beforehand, how that this is probably going to be one of the most difficult gigs he did. It was like, oh no, it'll be good, no problems. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this could be. And I knew he would, if he just did what he does, he'll be fine. Because at the evening party, he did a fabulous job there with his mixing.
He was great. He was fabulous. You should be proud. He should be proud.
Oh, very much so.
But I really enjoyed being a guest for once. I'm a terrible guest. at weddings and everything else, just like every other DJ pretty much is. But I really honestly had a good time. Just listen to other people do their thing, different styles, different genres, different flavor. Everyone's super talented, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a fun experience.
And that back onto the most regretted thing, my most regretted was missing out on the DJNTV party. Me, Bar, and Mojo were actually at dinner when that was going on. So we just finally got around to eating.
And that was, and there were quite a few folks who were going to get there to the party, and they would order some food and such, because they do have pretty good food at the Irish pub. And then you start talking, and then you start doing this, and then and then it's like, oh my gosh, we got to get going. It's 11 o'clock, and once again, I have a teenager who's like, gosh, I'm hungry. It's kind of a theme.
Poor Brian's mozzarella sticks. I heard he had a couple casualties with those.
Yeah. I think he ate a couple of them, and the rest of they basically went to waste because they got cold and then rained on.
Rained on.
Just kind of following.
So, Rick, I got a question for you. What was the best place you ate at?
You're gonna have to ask Bar. What was the name of that place we ate at? I can't even recall.
There's about a 30-second delay, so.
Well, Bar will comment. He'd say it's his favorite restaurant in Atlantic City. So he's gonna hate me that I forgot the name of it, but he'll comment eventually. It was in the Tropicana though.
Oh, I've never.
It was a
Carmine's.
No, it's a Spanish restaurant.
Oh, the Cuban place.
Yeah, it's in my video, so I don't know. Cuba Libre, maybe? I don't know, something like that.
I remember them talking about it when we were at the Tropicana a couple of years ago, when ADJ had an event there.
Cuba Libre, yeah. Cuba Libre.
Yeah,
that was the best place I ate at. But
okay. Nice.
I didn't get around to eating many places. I skipped dinner multiple times. I skipped breakfast multiple times. It's just like
Red Bull. I lived on Red Bull from Monday to Thursday.
I lived on my energy drinks too.
Oh, Red Bull.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Tuesday was a late night. I want to say I didn't go to bed until like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It was rough.
Yes, I probably pulled a steady 5 a.m. every single night.
Wow.
That's what time I wake up for work on a weekday.
Wow.
I was coming in, and my mom just kind of peeked her head up and was like, I'm not even going to ask. Good night or good morning or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to give it my all this go around. I think next year I'll be a little more tame, a little more calm and organized, and really pick what's important. But I went all out, and I paid for it because I'm over 30, and it literally took me a week to recover. And I'm going to bring hand sanitizer next time, so I don't end up with
whatever it was. Happens, that we find.
I talked to like 6 other DJs, like everyone was sick. Well, think about everything you're touching and shaking hands, and it happens.
Yep. So that's why I decided I'm no longer shaking hands. We just hug. Hugs.
Or just bump elbows. We'll just bump elbows.
Just
knuckles. Knuckles.
But
I agree with Rachel there. I need a better game plan next year. I felt so like just every instant doing something, getting pulled somewhere, doing something, talking to someone. Hey, there's like 2 or 3, 4, 5 different things I could be doing right now. Who wants to do what?
And you also, Rick, were trying to find time to, take some of your footage, because I watched, like I said, the first 2 of your videos, and they were great. I really enjoyed seeing your perspective on that. But so not only are you trying to find, time to do what you do, but talk and eat and party, and it'll make your head spin.
Well, yeah, and I literally, when I went back to edit, I'm like, man, I wish I would have got a shot of that, or a shot this way, or more time lapses and stuff that I really didn't even consider, because I was more or less not going for the filming aspect. More or less, it was rolling 24/7. I just filmed whatever was whatever. So I was more or less trying to just be there for the networking, immerse myself in the experience, and try not to focus too much on the video aspects of it. Bar pointed out a great thing. In his when he was looking through his footage, he couldn't really find me in any of it. but we literally were hanging out pretty much the whole entire time together. And I literally the same thing in my footage. I can't find any clips of me and Bar like actually hanging out or talking and stuff. But yet we were literally together the whole entire show for the most part.
Yeah, you guys were very close. Yes. Oh, that's funny.
Do you want to jump back to seminars for a sec?
Yeah, we can go whatever direction because we'll do a little bit more here. And
so Bar commented this about 20 minutes ago, and I kind of like agreed with his statement. I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I
said that the seminars are always kind of disappointed to him because he always feels like the president or the presenters are doing more of a tribute to themselves or boasting themselves a little bit, and incorporating that into doing tips, but they're doing a lot of boasting at their seminars. And I kind of agreed in a few of the seminars I went to. It seemed more or less where they were just talking about all the crazy, amazing things they've done over the year and not really giving any tips or explaining how they did that. They were just kind of like explaining. I'm not going to say names or anything, but there was multiple seminars I went to that were like that.
I would say my constructive criticism for the seminars would be I really wanted something. I thought I was going to have something a lot more informational based in terms of finer details with things. It was very kind of, I don't want to say entry level because there was a lot of good information, but like I really wanted to learn about, DMXing or how, audio actually works or like EQing and like, like the real advanced stuff. I didn't feel that there was any variation in the level of seminars. They all were just kind of the same playing field, so to speak.
Sure.
And I felt they should have offered some more, higher level education and some more introductory stuff because you have a melting pot of DJs there. You have people who are going there as DJs who are just getting into it and want to just dive in. And then you have a bunch of veterans there that are there for networking, but it'd be nice to hear from someone who may be more expert in something than you. And I didn't feel that was really offered. There wasn't a lot of diversified in terms of levels of seminars for different types of DJs.
Yeah, I definitely will back you on that. A lot of seminars, it's no criticism to other DJs in that, but being on YouTube and like observing all the knowledge that's out there, a lot of stuff that they were talking about, I'm like, I've already done that. I already know how to do that. This is stuff I've been doing for multiple years now. Yeah. But in terms of like more higher end, new level stuff and more advanced stuff didn't seem to be there. It was more or less entry level, mid level, but I mean there was some pointers in there, that stuff that I didn't know or haven't done before, but a lot of stuff seemed to be more based around basic stuff. I don't want to categorize as basic, but stuff that a lot of people are already doing that that half the people don't know about and half the people already do know about. So I want to know that stuff that only like 10-20% of DJs out there are doing, and what is that stuff and how is it working?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if, as we see the numbers of people who are watching our videos, Rick, especially with your channel, you've got a lot of younger DJs, younger male DJs who are wanting to get into that mixing world and such and doing teen dances. Those aren't the guys that are going to a DJ Expo. Did you see many people that were in that, under 20?
I mean, there was I would probably at least five or eight young DJs actually came up to me that knew me from my YouTube channel. Those were the majority of the people that came up to me were the younger ones. Mm-hmm. So, but there was at least 5 or 8 of them that were pretty young that came up to me that either said they just started DJing or they've only been in it for about a year now. They were just now buying like their first decent set of speakers and stuff. So there was some there that came, but they either like a few of them, like their parents came along with them. And
yeah, I saw some of that.
It was nice to see that though.
Oh, very much
nice
so.
To see them coming. And hopefully they're not just there to try and convince their parents to buy gear for them. But
well, it's a good spot to do that if they want to. Support the show and the sponsors there, that's for sure. But yeah, the younger generation, I even watch my own children and the way they are consuming a lot of their educational content online. So then we get to a show like that, and you've got your 30 and 40 and 50-year-old DJs, which, that probably 35 to 45 is kind of the sweet spot for most of the DJs that are active DJs. And then you have the East Coast company owners who are in their 45 to 55-year range. They're not there for the education or or something, because if they were the ones yelling and saying, "Hey, we want something that fits us," you wouldn't be talking about 101 content. It's just a tough situation of how do they get to a point. They don't go to the seminars, and the only ones who might are the that's why show promoters scratch their heads so much.
It's true. But I mean, it's logistically, I can say this just because this was my first ever show. The younger generation, it's logistically really hard for us to make it to these week shows during the week. Yeah. That's the whole reason why I haven't came the past years, because college classes, high school classes, they've always interfered with these shows. And I just can't cancel all my college classes for a week and go out to DJ Expo. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work that way. And then there's the financial aspect. But
yeah, that becomes a tough thing to do. And then as you get older and you have family, and then you're like, oh, I can either, as Rachel mentioned at the beginning, either I can go with my family to Disney, or I can go to Atlantic City. And right. those are real calls that we have to make as adults. Before we wrap up, we're going to do one last thing, and we might have even touched on a little bit of this with the constructive criticism. But if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about DJ Expo or the exhibit hall or any part of it, what would that one thing, that one wave of the magic wand, what would that fix?
I'm going to say mine's education. I want to see more education, better education, better presenters, and just a more wide variety of education. Also, seminars not overlapping. I hated that.
He took my answer. I want more technical based, or more variety. I mean, keep all levels, and just not having to run around like a chick with your head cut off to hit everything.
And maybe make the seminars shorter. That'll help encourage them to be more quick hitter based, not like very informative, not
great
like
tip.
Here's the history of our company and stuff like that. No, just get into the meat of the subject. Your topic is this, discuss this. Also answer the questions that are asked. Don't leeway around those questions and not actually answer the question. I hated that.
And one more constructive criticism. I felt for DJ Expo, the mics and the sound should have been like the best I've ever heard. Some of these mics were real hot. They were just so loud. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was in the front row at the welcome and the microphone talk, and that speaker had my ear hurting.
Ooh.
And I'm used to very loud decibel music. My ear was hurting, which normally means it's above 95-ish decibels. So,
ooh, yeah, that's not good.
And it was very high pitched, like she said. The mics, oh my god! I hate the fact that there was a sponsored sign for the mics in every seminar room. That looks very bad upon that sponsor to that be the example that's getting let out with their name.
Yeah,
when really it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, when they're not being used properly, that would be very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. The two areas that if I could change, the exhibit hall and the way they handle the sound is certainly something that was.
I appreciated the earplugs. Like that was a good call.
But even with the earplugs though, we can't go and sit down and talk to Nick from Promo Only. We can't talk to the guys who are selling the marijuana there. We can't talk to them, and dang it, we needed to talk to them. I mean, how can we?
So yeah, establishing a rule basically where if you want to demo speakers, get yourself a demo room. Otherwise, no go.
No sound.
You can have sound for like the mixers, like where people are mixing.
Yep, in the headphones.
The headphones, or maybe just like studio monitors for people that want to scratch out live or something like that. But
that's true. Yeah, if they put a 6-inch driver limit in that room,
that would be interesting.
That would be interesting because that could change a lot of dynamics in that room. But anyway, something for future for them to deal with in the future. So the final part, and then we're going to wrap up, is next year. Are you planning to go, Rachel?
Absolutely. I will be there.
And Rick?
Absolutely, with a large budget for gear. I will probably be bringing a trailer next year, the way it's looking out.
Oh, wow. Bringing a trailer.
For trussing.
Well, thank you very much, Rick, Rachel, for being with me tonight. We are going to take about a 5-minute break here, and we're going to get Brian Red on with our next show tonight. And you can find that link out. It's somewhere. Just refresh YouTube in just a few minutes, and it'll come up in just a few minutes. So thank you guys for being with us, and we'll be right back.